That's what it felt like yesterday in Montana.
Yeah.
100%.
They felt like that. There was a pre-match conversation. Then whenever it started, for some reason, there was another whole thing. That thing didn't start until 45, 50 minutes later. But once it got started, I absolutely fucking loved it. Now, Tom Brady and Phil Mickelson, incredibly entertaining individuals. Okay, Tom, I assume that 90% of football fans have watched Tom over the last year and said, damn it, I have hated this guy for so long. He is the picture of what perfection is supposed to look. He's handsome. He's got a supermodel wife. He's won 6 Super Bowls now at this point. He came from the evil empire, was the face of the evil empire. Oh, yeah. He cheats. Yeah. This guy cheats every single turn. Whoa. And this guy probably knocked my favorite team, my favorite player, out of the tournament numerous times. Every year, when this handsome, cheating son of a bitch would show up, my dreams would get shattered, my week would get ruined. Then Tom does like the Howard Stern interview, and then Tom starts doing a little bit more, starts opening up on his social media, starts doing like some commentary. Mm-hmm. He has a fucking TikTok at this point. He's doing these matches. Tom's impossible to hate.
Yeah, he really
got
is.
the guy. The NFL's got the guy.
They got the guy.
They got our guy who is going to be considered the greatest of all time whenever, who knows how many Super Bowl rings he'll have when it's all said and done. He's hilarious, has a sense, maybe he's funnier than some of these motherfuckers that are getting paid to be funny. I'll say that.
Absolutely.
I will say, me included,
It's hard to be relatable or funny in that position.
He's an alien.
Yeah, exactly.
He's funny. He seems to be, very, very, very competitive. And you'll see that at every turn, even at the end, whenever they were trying to figure out what clubs to use. Whenever Aaron was the first to draw, and Aaron saw the forward through the envelope. I don't know if anybody else saw this. Tom saw Aaron see through the envelope. Tom sees through the envelope, all right? Because this is immediately what I would do. So I was literally watching like, okay, is this what Tom's doing? Probably any competitive human. He cuts in front of, I don't know if you saw, DeChambeau, looks at the envelope, grabs it, and then walks away. So nice. And I go, that's exactly what I would have done. And my wife, Colts fan, said, of course Tom has to fucking cheat. It's like, no, he's not cheating, okay? Tom has seen the set of things in front of him and have beat it. However, that's what Tom does. By the way, Aaron would have done the same damn thing. If Aaron would have seen Tom do that, Aaron would have done the same thing. Any competitive human would have done that. But when you talk about a guy who seems to be incredibly attractive, I mean, it was talked about a lot there by everybody thinks he's attractive.
He fixed his butt chin. That doesn't happen to anybody.
He naturally, he fucking ate avocado ice cream.
That's what I mean. He grew out of it at 25 years old.
He ate avocado ice cream and that chocolate and all that other stuff, and it changed. But he's handsome.
Yeah.
He seems incredibly charming. I don't know. He's never had to turn on, but it seems like it all turns.
He's fist bumping people.
He's funny. This guy, he's
charming.
He's funny. It has to be so annoying. It's just like Aaron Rodgers whenever he would come on this show. Now, we have to pivot off of Tom and Phil, although Phil telling us what he's going to do to the exact yards and the whole thing. And I mean, he definitely extends that match probably another 2 to 3 hours every time. But it's nice to hear him kind of break down what he's going to do.
Right.
Hearing DeChambeau and how he operates was also fascinating, I think, for a bit. Utterly confusing, but Tom being awesome and likable was my biggest takeaway. Like, okay, this dude is legit. Like, it seems like this guy somehow has remained a human, which all of his teammates have said, by the way. All his teammates love being his teammate. Aaron fucking Rodgers, though. He might have had the greatest 5-hour live television golf performance I've ever seen in my entire life.
It was awesome.
Vegas knew.
He was going in. Packers fans hated him. Some Packers fans hated him. NFL fans, if they didn't listen to the show this fall and it didn't have his back throughout this entire thing, think he's a diva, pompous asshole, is how people were painting Aaron Rodgers. Yesterday, long hair flowing with the kiss of the Hawaiian sun. I don't know if you see that, so it lightens the hair a little bit. Every time I come back from Hawaii, I go back to whenever I was a kid with like full blonde hair because the sun, natural sun in there. Had the great hair. okay, has been saying I haven't been golfing 5.5 hours. I can read a book. I can meditate. LA's tough or whatever. He's kind of sandbagging this thing. DeChambeau loses his caddy. He's had to do these awkward little press conferences where Tom Brady has brilliantly in beautiful fashion sent a right hook across the bow in the Zoom call. I mean, the whole lead up to this thing was that Aaron stinks at golf. He's not in shape for golf. Nope. He's not in shape for football. He doesn't care. He's going to quit. He's going to leave. Everybody hates him. Then he gets there, starts out a little bit rough. Okay? Starts out a little bit. Still very quiet, by the way. Hey, I'm not here to just kind of quiet little quips here. Then he makes that putt, okay? As the sun starts moving and he starts sweating a little bit, you start getting a shot. His calves look like he's been fucking doing squats and step-ups and lifts and things like that every single day for the last 3 months while he was in Hawaii. He looked in incredible fucking shape.
Still in football shape.
He looked, because at Kentucky Derby, he might have just came out of some diet or something. I don't know what he was doing. He looked incredibly small. But when you're talking about how he looked yoked.
Yeah.
Then he makes that putt, and he just started balling. I mean, he started playing better than his goddamn pro. They were using his. He was starting then to start getting real confident. There were some sly comments coming in. He dropped fucking shit naturally. Everybody's like, oh, that's what I would do on a golf course as well. He had some hilarious. I mean, he not only did he dominate in golf, and he won like a World Series of Poker bracelet for winning the match, which was cool, that he couldn't get over his big fucking hand there at the beginning of that whole thing. He was hilarious, likable, didn't give away anything that happened, and still did address the whole thing and saying, we'll see. When he was talking about being at the first game against the Saints for the Green Bay Packers, whenever the announcer, who's a Milwaukee guy, I guess tried to ask him and lead him in there. Charles asked him, Larry asked him, Tom asked him, and he played it off somehow in incredibly cool fashion, came out looking good on the other side, and I think everybody's on his side now. And I started thinking to myself, this handsome motherfucker could be in the PGA if he wanted to.
Yeah, right?
He has the mindset to go ahead and lock in on something. He can train. He can do that. And it seems like his natural ability, I mean, who knows how much he's been golfing, but let's just assume it's been a pretty good amount. He was balling out there.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely balling. They get the win. DeChambeau hit a ball 500 yards. I mean, pretty much every bet that we thought we threw out yesterday, pretty much hit, including first hole birdie, first hole win for Aaron and DeChambeau. It was a beautiful night, beautiful day. It was a lot longer than I thought, but it is such a nice break of entertainment, those matches. I enjoy them a lot. At Ty Schmidt, big Packers fan, were you alarmed about the we'll see? We don't know. And then at the end, when he told Tom, next week, maybe we'll find out something, that was a little something that dropped out there. What were your thoughts as a fan of Aaron and then obviously as a Packer?
No, yeah, I mean, he won the day completely. With that, I mean,
Charles Barkley had a great.
He did.
Charles Barkley had a great day.
Sure. He did.
Charles Barkley had a great day. Aaron Rodgers, though, won that day. Phil, great day.
Unbelievable day.
Unbelievable. Aaron Rodgers won yesterday, and I assume he thought there was a chance that was going to happen, and he went in there very comfortable, prepared, both, for any
questions that they were going to lob out there, and
body-wise, golf-wise.
Yeah.
He said he played there last week. They caught him on a hot mic. I mean, he sandbagged a little bit going in there. He looked cool. He won the day. But as a Packers owner, you are, Ty, your thoughts on how that whole thing panned out?
Yeah, no, I wasn't worried at all. It was because, like you said, I mean, he didn't seem any different. He seemed like the guy who was on the show, just kind of relaxed, comfortable. He was trading jabs with the guys. Like, he wasn't.
Hey, shut up, Phil.
Yeah, exactly. He wasn't being, like, timid or weird when they asked him the question, and he kind of set the precedent early, like, hey, I get that you guys are gonna ask me this, but like I'm not gonna say anything today. Like, I'm locked in right now on the golf course, and that's what I'm focused on. So it wasn't like oh shit, he's not gonna be there. Honestly, it was just nice to be like, okay, I can just enjoy him locked in playing golf right now, because it was very, very fun to watch.
And now I don't know how many friend groups have these anymore, or how many friend groups in the country have this particular guy in your friend group. But if you have the high, hilarious guy in your group who's pretty quiet, I feel like that was Aaron yesterday.
Yes.
Aaron was the kind of quiet, high guy who was seeing everything.
Yeah.
And by the way, smarter than probably everybody in the room. Not obviously Aaron yesterday, but I'm talking about when it comes to this particular friend that is in a lot of friend groups. He is normally very high. I'm not saying Aaron was high yesterday. I mean, potentially.
He did make a reference to like Phil like activating his cannabinoid receptors.
So I'm not saying he was or he wasn't, but that's exactly the role. I thought back to a couple of my incredibly high, hilarious, smart friends out there, and I just at the beginning I assumed people were like, "Oh, Aaron stinks. This guy's boring." And then once you get 5 hours into it, it's like, "Oh, this guy's kind of been the drive behind this entire thing." Now, if he plays like shit, I'd like to see how that goes, right? Which could have changed. But him getting through it and playing great, who cares? It was awesome.
Because in the end, like they needed him for that to be entertaining. Because DeChambeau was playing like shit, and he wasn't, like really saying. I mean, he's not that interesting. I don't think on like his mic'd up segments. Like
let's say this about DeChambeau. Let's get into Dude Chambro.
Bryson.
Okay, let's get into DeChambeau. Bryson DeChambeau. Aaron. First interview about DeChambeau, Aaron goes, "Yeah, this guy's a maniac. The things he likes to talk about and the things he likes to talk about, he's a maniac, man." Like that's just, by the way, perfectly stated as the high friend in the group. Like this guy is an absolute maniac. What he's talking about, what he's choosing to talk about. Then Charles Barkley, right? Charles Barkley is like, hey man, I got a chance to listen. This guy's cool. Like a lot of people say a lot of things. I think DeChambeau won. Even though he played like shit, he had a couple balls, 500 yards.
Yeah.
But I think we know exactly what DeChambeau is, right?
Right.
This is like we thought, a massively meathead nerd. Okay, the way he thinks, the way he acts, everything about him. He's a golf nerd who's also a meathead who's eating 3,000 calories of food on the golf course.
That's wild.
Okay, that's a whole day. That's a whole day for people. He eats that every time he's on the golf course because he said he burns 5,000 to 6,000 calories. So he's losing, I guess that's like 10 to 15 pounds every day on the course or whatever. He's got a whole science equation. Listening to him, how he explains putting and all his decision making, insane. But I think I found myself liking DeChambeau a lot more than maybe going into it. So I think it was overall a win-win-win for everybody, including TNT, who got 6 hours of commercial time that they could use for that entire thing.